Okay, tonight I'm going to do a rock to point. I was going to finish out this one, but I was told that one of the reasons why I can't get this to show properly on video on the pressure flaking was because all the background is very light and the object is dark. So you can't you see the camera gets confused or something. I don't know how to manually set it up so that the contrast isn't messing things up. So I got some black gloves on order. I'll finish this out later when I have a black glove. I have some leather dye, but I can't find it. And it takes me an hour to go get it. I can't be away for that long from the house. Yeah, 20, 25, 30 minutes each way to go get the leather dye. Because we don't have that type of leather dye here in town, as far as I can tell. The good type of leather dye. Yeah, kind of does not rub off on the arrowheads or on the work pieces. Okay. Yeah, it's good to live out in the sticks, in out in the wilderness, sort of, kind of. Except when you need to buy specialty items like black golf gloves and high grade leather dye. You know, I can get oil paints and all kinds of artsy stuff. Anyways, let's get this napped. This isn't as much of a contrast as the darker obsidian, so should be all right. And to tell you the truth, I haven't really looked that much. I might be able to find everything I need locally somewhere, but I haven't spent the time to figure it out. So I'm just gonna wait. Wait until the stuff I got on order comes in. Yeah, because they deliver it to the door. It's so much easier. And if I find my leather dye, I know I've got some in my storage unit. If I find it when I need to go back there to look for something else, I'll start dyeing my gloves. I think it'll benefit me to have all my gloves to be black or at least dark brown or something. Yep. So that's an adventure, right? Figuring out how to get all this on video. This one actually has some of that gold sheeny looking type of stuff in it. Yes. This batch from Bill Taylor is from the same batch as the other one from, or it comes from Glass Buttes. All this stuff comes from Glass Buttes, so very interesting. This is my good bopper. My good bopper is very good for obsidian. I forgot to drink water before the video. Because if I try to do everything I need to do, I'll never start the video. I didn't do a video yesterday because of that problem. Gotta do this and that, get this done before that, and this done before that. And then all of a sudden, time for bed. Yep. Gotta get up early. I keep forgetting that I've got to go to bed early. To get up early, not by choice. You gotta be ready, just in case. Because at first I wasn't too concerned about getting a lot of sleep. I said, nah, it's okay. You know, I'll miss sleep for a couple nights a week because of the erratic schedule. But the erratic schedule became 5 days a week instead of 2 days a week. I might get 2 days a week of good sleep, and that's it nowadays. So I've got to figure out a better way to manage the time. Yep. Today I got a lot of sleep, so it's good. It does affect the Flintknapping quite a bit. Yeah, the Obsidian goes through this glove easily. Those little shards, they poke through, and I can feel them poke through. They don't go all the way through, they just poke a little bit, and it gets itchy. Yeah. And then these little vent holes, I gotta sew them up. But who has time to do the sewing? I don't even have time to figure out what rocks I'm gonna be napping. So I just grabbed the closest thing possible. But I like this kind of obsidian. When it doesn't snap in half on me. Yeah. I should do another bifacing session. Crunchy. Oh yes, there's a crunchy spot on here. That's not good either. I'm gonna have to lose a bunch of this side, I bet you. Very nice. It's very nice when I can get a large flake that I can use instead of 2 halves of a large flake. Yep. I can still use the 2 halves of a large flake. I just never know when I'm able to get around to it. I should start making some points that have 2 points. Points with 2 points. Pointy base and a pointy tip. Yeah. If I want to conserve length, that's the style that I should be making. If I want to conserve length, the style that has 2 points. It's crunchyiola and snappiola and crackiola, everything. Well, that didn't go well. Okay. Try it again. Yeah, let's try it again. No, that's not. That's the same problem as before. The grinding is uneven. There we go. Yeah. It almost reached. Almost. Dang it. Yeah, I hold this thing in different ways. I hold the bopper in different ways, depending on the effect. There are different effects when you hold it in different ways, or when you use different angles, or use different amounts of force, or a combination of all those. When I just swipe with the top part, it's less shocking to the piece, and the inward force is a little more gentle, so it's not scooping it too much. Yeah, they should all look like that. I don't know why they don't all look like that. And when it gets thin, it starts feeling like plastic. I can feel the flexibility when it starts getting real thin. I don't know how to explain it, but I can feel the way it's reacting to the bopper. Yeah. The edges get thinner and thinner. They crush easier and easier. The flakes get thinner and thinner. And it starts to change. The Flintknapping mindset has to switch, has to make that switch. Yeah, that's one thing good about Obsidian is the flakes can keep kicking each other. See, that one was going to stop there, but it kicked that little lump off. That's one good thing about Obsidian is it does that. As long as it doesn't overshoot, it's good. Sometimes it'll kick the lump too far, and it'll either dive or take off the other edge or some stupid stuff. All right. I was going to look up what are the wide points out there that I could be doing. I don't find very much other than the simple blades and the contracting stem stuff. Very easy to make points that, I don't know how interesting it would be to make a video on points that basically just look like this. It's just thinner. And maybe a contracting stem on it. I don't know how interesting that would be. Maybe it's just the flake removals that you're interested in and not the final result of the shape or the type. I just want to know how to do the removals of the flakes. That's it. That's what I have trouble with. If I could just remove the flakes, the shape is a piece of cake. Yeah. If you could just do that, right? If you could just do that, you can just trim around the edges later, I suppose. So maybe I'll just start making simple stuff. Yeah. I'm already taking my time making stuff that's a little bit thicker so it won't break. You know, stop the thinning a little earlier than usual. This should go straight for the narrow points. Some people say, well, you need to make more blades if you want to do the narrow ones because they don't start fat. Well, we don't know if they don't start fat. You ever see a cache of blades that were intended to be made into points? Or do you see caches of blades intended to be used as blades? Caches of these long, narrow ones. Do you think the caches of these are intended for being made into points, or do you think these are just to be used as is? I think they're to be used as is. So the narrow ones you see, in most cases, I think, start out fat like this, and they're just narrowed with all that material going to waste, basically. Bunch of crud flakes. But they didn't care too much about the waste, apparently, back in the day. In some cultures. Yeah. A lot of cultures just made stuff like this and that was it. I was looking in the book last night. I need to get more acquainted with these obsidian types. And I'm skimming through the pages. Okay, leaf shape. Skip some more pages. Okay, leaf shape. Skip some. Okay, narrow leaf shape. Okay, long and pointy leaf shape. All right, fat and short leaf shape. When am I going to get to some things that are not leaf shape? Okay, finally some notches. Then they go crazy. This has got bunches of notches. The Stocktons. I went from looking at stuff that was all leaf shaped to crazy Stocktons with lots and lots of details and notches and variations in the stems. What's up with that? They're the only guys that took advantage of the enormous potential of the obsidian to be shaped into whatever you want. Seems like it. Obsidian is so nappable, you can make whatever you want out of it. And they didn't. I think it's because if you're going to use obsidian as a tool for everyday stuff, it breaks so easily that it's got to be hefty and very simple. All the fancy stuff just breaks too easily. You know, fancy edges will snap. Fancy little serrations will snap off. Barbs will snap off. So they say, we don't need no stinking barbs. We don't need no stinking notches. We don't need no stinking anything. Just simple. Because all that stinking stuff breaks off. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah. And no fancy flaking either. You can do some amazing flaking with Obsidian. But they didn't. In most cases, it was just simple, random stuff, and they still get step fractures. Even with the simple stuff. Yeah. Don't pay attention to that, man. Just do it. Just do the fancy stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting. That's the kind of feedback I tend to get. Just don't worry about it. Just do the fancy stuff. Show us how to do it so that we can be doing the impossible. Yeah, I know. Just thinking about ways to make more videos. More videos. What can I do to increase the number of videos other than splitting them up into 30-minute or 15-minute segments? I can do that too. I can cut off these videos in 15-minute segments. Yeah. You get more views. But I want to do some other ways. What other ways? That don't take forever. It don't take 1 week to set up the whole thing, and I don't do any other videos except that one thing that takes a week to get set up. Oh, I've tried that before too. It's not worth it. You try to get set up and you do all these things for a week to get set up for that video, and you go, okay, I got enough set up. I'll just make do with what I got, because if I don't, it'll be 3 weeks instead of 1 week. Then you make the video and it doesn't get that many views because you needed to have set it up completely with a lot more detail. That would have taken more weeks to make. So what do? I don't know. Simplify life down to less tasks. Yep. That's what I've been doing for several years now. The last 10 years I've been trying to limit the tasks that I need to do. Just keep trimming off what I need to be doing slowly and slowly until finally there's not much else to do other than work on interesting stuff instead of stupid stuff. Yeah. So where is this going? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to get this nice and smooth. Yeah. Smooth and wide doesn't seem to go together very well. if I narrow this down, it's much easier to get it smooth. Yeah, that's the problem. And slowly, it unfortunately, the way to cure the problem is to take more time. Take more time, be more careful, get more practice, get more material. Everything that increases the amount of time spent is what overcomes the problem. The more time you spend, the more material you use, the more carefully you contemplate each strike, the more you prepare each edge, the smoother and smoother it gets. Until you reach a point where you say, that's good enough. But it doesn't ever seem to be good enough because it could be a little bit better. And that's when you start to overcompensate and try to make it too perfect. Because it could be a little bit better because you've seen someone do it just a little bit better. Yeah. And you know that you can run flakes just a little bit better. And you know you can prepare that edge just a little bit better. And you know that you can just take just a little more time and being more patient. Yep. And take a little more time in preparing the tools, making the tools, just make the tools a little bit better. That's all. Yeah. So my average now, after doing that for several years, just trying to fine tune everything, I used to be able to make points in 30 to 45 minutes. Now it's an hour and 45 minutes. I added an hour to my average time when I'm making a nice point, where I used to make them a lot faster. But they were not as smooth as they are now. I don't know. I'm going to probably call it quits on the smoothness thing very soon because it's driving me up the wall. Yeah, and after many, many years of being driven up the wall, I don't want to go there no more. So I'm not going to. I'll figure out how to do the pattern flaking, and then I'll move on. All I know is that to do the pattern flaking, I haven't found any other way to do it other than to make everything nice and smooth for the flakes to be run across in a nice, consistent pattern. You've got to make everything smooth first. That's why I'm trying to make everything smooth. Yeah. If you don't have a smooth surface either by grinding beforehand or making it smooth like this beforehand, though you're not going to be able to get consistent long flakes like parallel flaking. You got to have a smooth preform, or you're going to have little mistakes. Now on the artifacts, the sequential flaking is not perfect. You got mistakes every now and then on the sequential flaking. But on a real artifact, you cut it some slack because it's real. But when you put it on the market to sell as a reproduction or as a new thing, it cannot have any defects in the parallel flaking because it just looks stupid because it's not an artifact. If you've got mistakes on an artifact, it just gives it character. If you got mistakes on a new point, it just makes it look stupid. Yeah. That's the difference. Yeah, no one says, oh, that new point that was just made, it's got a lot of step fractures, but it's got character. No. it doesn't. Unless you consider the character to be the Joker, then yeah, it's got character because it's a joke. But at some point, I'm going to say that's good enough. That's just good enough. I might as well be just grinding these like flake over grind if I want to get them that perfect. A lot less aggravation. How did they do it in the past? When you look at them, not all of them have perfect flaking. They got little mistakes every now and then, but you cut it some slack because it's an artifact. That's my final answer. Yeah, but there's some artifacts that are perfect. Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, you're looking at the very rare ones, yes. I know, everyone's always looking at those. All right, we're almost there. We're almost there. I mean, we're there. I can live with that. Can you live with that? With those little steps right there? No? Not when there's lumpiness. I can take a lump out right there. Yeah. And that would take care of some of that. Some of that's in there because of the lump. Yeah, I couldn't travel further into this lump, so it stopped. So now you got to get the lump out from the other side. Yeah. All right. All right. Good. Good. Nice. Nice. Come on. This is a lot smaller than that piece I started with. That big old chunk. Yeah. Now it's a step on the other side. I went from stepping on that side to stepping on the other side. Why doesn't it feather out nicely? Because it starts to dive once it's really long. Yeah. It didn't kick out the other piece though. It changes its mind when it starts getting thin. It doesn't want to kick out that other piece. It did it in the beginning when it was nice and thick and it was big thick flakes. But these flakes are getting thin. They don't want to kick past the middle. Nope. They don't. They go, it's enough. They don't want to do no more. Come on. Yeah. Let's go. You make me do it. I'm going to take some of the edge with me. You made me do it. So it's going to take some of the edge. It's a price to pay to make me go that way. Look at that. I think I only encountered that kind of situation with Obsidian. I think. I'm trying to think. Seems that way. My memory is probably too short to count on to make that assessment. Just careful enough to be. That's okay. That's okay. Not too persnickety. Yeah. Yikes. It's not supposed to resist the flaking at this stage. If it resists the flaking at this stage, you're going to put incipients in there that could snap all the way across. Or open up and go across. 35 minutes. The magic number. I used to cut off all my videos at 30 minutes or so. Back in the day when my camera could not hold a lot of video data. Nowadays I can film like 12 hours of video on and keep it stored on the camera. Yeah. I think it's 12. Maybe it's 8. Something like that. It depends on the resolution. Yeah. I always film in high res. High resolution. So maybe I can't hold 12 hours. I can hold quite a bit. Compared to my other phones that I used to film with. People used to ask me all the time, what phone are you using to film with? And now they don't never ask me anymore. Did something change in the technology so that everybody has good phones now? Good camera phones, phone cameras? Yeah. Yeah, it's getting too thin. See, little bites. That means it's time for stopping. Yeah. It's getting too thin. And church bells, they're ringing now. That means it's getting late. No, that's not what that means. Those church bells do not ring all night. I think they stop at 8 p.m. I don't remember. The one downtown doesn't stop at 8 p.m. I've heard it ring at 9 and 10, I think. Yeah, so I got plenty of good flakes. These are actually not that easy to make arrowheads from. So I think that they were mainly used as is, and then they resharpened the edges. I thought I might have seen some gold sheen. Yeah. Some of it has it. A little bit of it. That golden sheen. Yeah. That's good enough. The rest of those are crud flakes. Yeah. Oh, that's not crud. Alrighty. There you go. First stage. Stage one. Exit stage one. Yeah. All right. On to the next segment.